Good morning, all of you. Now we'll discuss about Political Science, Chapter 1, Power Sharing. In class ninth, you have already studied that in a democracy, all power does not rest with any one organ of the government, and intelligence sharing of power among the legislature, executive, and judiciary is very important for the design of democracy. Now, in this chapter, the idea of power sharing is explained in detail, drawing parallels between the stories of Belgium and Sri Lanka. Also, we'll learn the different forms of power sharing. Now, story of Belgium. First, we will discuss about the geographical position of Belgium. Belgium, a small country in Europe, having shares borders with Netherlands, France, and Germany. Now we will talk about area and population. It is smaller in area than the Indian state of Haryana. Population little over 1 crore. Now we'll discuss about the ethnic composition of Belgium. In Belgium, 59% Dutch-speaking people, 40% German French-speaking people, and 1% people speak German language. Now, if we are talking about capital city of Brussels, where 80% French-speaking people and 20% Dutch-speaking people. That means in Brussels, the Dutch-speaking people are in minority, which is opposite of the rest of the country, where they are in majority. Now we'll compare another situation, that is Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, which is an island nation just a few kilometers off the southern coast of Tamil Nadu. Now, geographical location, and after that, population. It has about 2 crores people, about the same as in Haryana. Like other nations in South Asia region, Sri Lanka has a diverse population. Now we will discuss about ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, 74% Sinhala speakers, 18% Tamil speaking people. Out of that, 13% Sri Lankan Tamils and 5% Indian Tamils. Now we will discuss about the religion. Most of the Sinhala speaking people are Buddhists and most of the Tamils are Hindus or Muslims. Now, majorityism in Sri Lanka. What is majorityism? That is a belief that only one majority community should circle a country, make laws for everyone, and with total disregard to the wishes and needs of the minority. So now we'll discuss about majorityism in Sri Lanka. In 1956, an act was passed to recognize Sinhala as the only official language, disregard Tamil. The governments followed preferential policies that favored Sinhala applicants for university positions and government jobs. And third one is the state shall protect and foster Buddhism. So all these government measures coming one after the another. That means feeling of alienation among the Sri Lankan Tamils and tensions between the two communities emerged. Now we'll discuss about accommodation in Belgium. Belgian leaders took a different path, recognized the existence of regional differences, and for that, they have amended their constitution 4 times. And the arrangement they worked out is different from any other country and very innovative. Now we'll discuss about some elements of the Belgian model. Number one, Constitution prescribes that the number of Dutch and French-speaking ministers shall be equal in the central government. Special laws require the support of majority of members. That means no single community can make decisions unilaterally. Second, many powers of the central government given to state governments. And that means the state governments are not subordinate to the central government. Next, a separate government for Brussels. Equal representation for both the linguistic groups. And the last, a third government called the community government, elected by the Dutch, French, and German-speaking people in change of language, cultural, and educational issues. So now, these two stories tell us about that the question of power sharing they dealt with differently. In Belgium, the leaders have realized that the unity of the country is possible only by respecting the feelings and interests of different communities and regions. But Sri Lanka shows us a contrasting example. It shows us that if a majority community wants to force its dominance over others and refuses to share power, it can undermine the unity of the country. Now, why this power sharing is desirable? So, for the power sharing is desirable, there are two reasons, that is, prudential reasons and the moral reason. When we are talking about prudential reasons, it reduces the possibility of conflicts between different social groups. Social conflicts led to violence, political instability. It prevents groups from overstepping their rights to enhance their own power. No single group can subvert the constitution power sharing rights of nation. When power is not shared, it opposes the minority, oppresses the minority, and even the majority. And next is the moral reason. That means power sharing is the spirit of democracy. People who are affected by the policies must have a hand in sharing the policies. Citizens' participation is a must. Moral reasons make power sharing essential and valuable.